we appreciate your coming. This is new. In fact, Josiah Medley, graduate of 2022, just said, hey, we didn't do this last year. Well, we had a couple of things that have happened since the awards ceremonies that we had in the fall. We've had some firsts, and it's been an unusual fall of records being broken, and in multiple sports, and the way it was done was unique. So we felt like this would be a great opportunity for us to tie a bow, if you will, on the fall season, and particularly to some special awards that we had. We've had some interesting all-conference. We've had Player of the Year, we've had All-State, we've had All-Conference, we've had school records broken. This class of 2023, pretty special group of people. The common thread, the common theme is, I think, and I talk to coaches and I talk to other observers about this class, is they put a lot of extra work into their craft. And I say that a lot, in particular awards, work in your craft. How much time you put into it. They just don't show up, they put it, and they were leaders. And I think this is certainly an example of that. I'm going to go through each individual. All right, I'm going to go through each individual as quickly as I can, because again, we've gone through these awards, but I will have to say, I want to talk soccer first.
Yeah.
Relevancy.
Yeah.
Relevancy. For the first time in a long time, Piqua soccer has been made relevant again, and in a large part by our team and our coaches done it, but also in particular to the leadership of one Nathan Beaker.
Yeah. Oh. Let's go, Pablo.
He's pretty driven and determined, and he's pretty goal-oriented. And when you're goal-oriented and you're driven, things happen. Take a look at this video. So this is an old video that one of his buddies took. I think Brownie took it during video last fall. In case you couldn't hear, it was a little loud. Last fall, he said, in 2022, he will be the Player of the Year, and it happened.
Let's go!
But what makes Nathan is his humility, and he was also, and he would say this with humility. He was the first time we ever got a OHSA Max Preps Player of the Week for the Ohio High School Athletic Association soccer. So congratulations to him. Second team All-State. Single season record for MVL goals scored, and then 3 school records: single game goals in a game, singles in the goals scored in the season, and career. Pretty special. Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's go! Oh yeah. Oh, one more Pablo.
Doubling down, baby.
Let's go.
Coach East was just hired as a new boys soccer coach.
Yeah.
Actually, Coach Wiseman today, unfortunately, his mother passed away and is unable to be with us today. So we're thinking of him. So Coach, thanks for stepping in for Coach Wiseman. Our next group of honorees were a part of our football team that made school history in their own right the past 3 seasons. All were a big part of back-to-back undefeated regular seasons, back-to-back MVL championships, and led their teams to 3 straight playoff appearances, including a regional final appearance their junior season. To top it off, these guys never lost to the rivals from the north or the south. Just a little fun math. In their season year, the senior year, they beat the rivals by a combined score of Sydney and Troy. 101-7. That's
That's the Piqua D.
They don't get Saturdays.
yeah, we won't. So needless to say, these guys made a big impact on the team, the program, and we had all-state guys and we had some records broken, and we're going to get into those again briefly, but we want to make sure we get to that. The first guy, though, that did make all-state, better known as Big Frage, as a big voice, as a positive leader on and off the field. And you can, if you don't know much about his positive voice, come to boys basketball game and you'll hear him in the students section, and you'll hear it for sure. A true delight, ladies and gentlemen. Big Frage. QB1, better known, Brady Gould. Fierce competitor that will go down as one of the top quarterbacks in school history. That's pretty good because there's been a lot of them that have walked through the hallways here. School record. Broke the school record for most passing yards in a career, surpassing Piqua High School Hall of Famer Justin Hem. He threw for 4,351 yards. Honorable mention All-State, Mr. Brady Gould. The Trombo Man, Jackson Trombo. Kickers live a different life. They just do. They go to their stuff, but they also go to their own sessions. And this young man put the time in and probably went, I would say, probably all over the country at one point. I think I saw you kicking in Dallas. It was a picture of you at Cowboy Stadium. You put the time into it. And it goes to show you 6 school records. Most extra points in a single season. Most extra points in a single game, most extra points in a career. Touchbacks in a season, the longest field goal in a single game, and the longest punt in a game. If nothing else, people will always remember the infamous punt against Edgewood. The ball just continued to go and go and go, and it changed the complexion of the game just like that. Third team All-State, ladies and gentlemen, Jackson Trombo.
Yeah, Trombo. Yeah.
Good, Trombo. Oh, yes.
Uh-oh.
Anson Cox, better known as Big Tree. I've only heard in my life 2 people speak in the third person. One is the Rock Dwayne Johnson. If you don't know who he is, YouTube him. He's a pretty good wrestler. And the other one is Tree Anson Cox. Give you an example. Well, not my glasses on. We're playing Belmont, getting ready to run onto the field, and he starts to bang his head as he's running. Come on, Tree! Get fired up! Ran up into the weight room, and he was just getting ready to get into the squat, and he started cheering himself. Come on, Tree, you can get this. Nobody else was cheering him on, but he was. My point, he's well spoken, and he can lift up anyone in any circumstance. I've seen in the depths of losses, he finds a way to make people feel good. He's a true community. He'll fit in wherever he goes, wherever he chooses to go to school, play football. He will just fit in. They're going to get a treat and a treat. Yeah. Second team, All-State, Anson Cox.
Let's go, Tree! Yeah, Tree!
Thanks, bro.
Always.
The silent assassin, Sam Schmeezy. I had 2 non-football guys in my office recently, and they were talking about trying to get youth to participate in sports and kids that sometimes are walking the hallways that aren't participating that should. And so we're talking about basic leadership qualities, and the question came up. I said, well, if you were someone came to you today and said, you got to go to war and you got to go to Foxhole, and you get to only take one person in this school, who you take? Only one. You can only take one. So I gave you 2 pieces of paper. I asked them to write their name so they couldn't say the same person. They wrote it down, handed it to me, same person's name. Same Schmidt.
Oh no.
That tells you what the guy does. The guy always, and I mean always, shows up. He doesn't necessarily do it with his loud voice, but you know who he was when he finished what he was doing, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's on the football field, whatever he lays his fingerprints on, you know what he did. He follows his talk by actions. And no better than a back-to-back, first team, all-state, Sam Schmidt.
Yeah.
Coach said something to me. We were in his office a couple of weeks ago, and he said that one of the things that he enjoyed about this team was he enjoyed coming to practice every day because they were always enjoyable, regardless of what the circumstances were. And you're going to miss a group like this. All 6 of these individuals that we're referring to are guys that made an imprint and an impact, not just in their sport, but in our district and our school. And certainly, we wish all of you guys luck. We're going to enjoy the last semester we have with you. We certainly wish you all the best as you guys move forward. But thank you once more time for all you did. Families, thank you for supporting them and all they did. We appreciate that. One quick shout out, AJ Ganger here. I threw him a prize.
Hey, Joe! It's all right, Joe!
I called him about 10 o'clock. I found that video that I had with Nathan, and I said, hey, can you pull this up on the video board? And it's kind of nice to have that thing. So thank you to AJ. Thanks everyone for coming today. Have a safe trip back and happy holidays.